Well, hello, everybody. It's Brother Todd with your Victory Minute, and I hope y'all all having a great day. Sorry about getting this minute out so late in the week. I got a little tied up earlier in the week. I come in this morning going through my normal morning routines of things that I do, and I've got a deal that I do whenever I'm in the office, whether it's if I'm working on one project or the other, or studying or whatever. When I move from one project to the next, I kind of let my brain kind of shift gears. And one of the things I do, in fact, my favorite pastime is to play chess. And so I'll play a 5 minute, if you're familiar with chess, what we call a 5 minute game. And I'll play a game of chess and against somebody out there on the internet, and usually they beat me, and then I go about my business. And I was doing that this morning, and I did something that I do a lot, and it brings up a reality of our lives. And if you can catch this and grab it, boy, it'll sure help you fix problems before they show up. In fact, I did something I'm prone to do. I'll tell you what it is here in a minute, and it made me think of a verse of scripture. And I said, I'm gonna put that verse of scripture out on a minute today. Maybe it'll be a help to somebody. Well, for those of y'all that play chess, I play if you don't know how to play chess, there's a white and black pieces. The white pieces go first, and so when I play with white, I play almost exclusively a queen's pawn opening called a queen's gambit. I'm gonna play that. You're gonna play me. Get ready for that, because that's what I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play that opening 99% of the time. Well, I move that queen's pawn, and normally, things kind of happen, and because everybody kind of knows the best moves against whatever. So I'll make that move, that second move, moving that C pawn up to the fourth rank, and I will do that. Almost made to make sure that was the right call on it. But anyhow, but I will do that a lot of times without thinking. Well, there's a couple of moves if the other person makes where that's not the best move. I lose games. Those of y'all that play chess, I'll make my queen pawn and they'll move their king pawn in counter game. And of course the obvious move is you take that pawn. But I will be, with my little mouse, I'll be moving my hand, and I'll move that C pawn. When I do, they take my queen pawn. I got to take my queen. They run me off with the knight. And now what's going on? All of a sudden, I started with the initiative, and I've completely lost it because of one reason: not paying attention, getting used to a thing happening, and just flat losing it, getting into a mess. Why? Because I'm very familiar with it, and I wasn't paying attention to it. And you say, Brother Todd, that is a very long story about a game I don't even like. Okay, or don't even know how to play. Fine, but catch what I'm saying. You can get so familiar with things that you're not paying attention to them, right? Now apply it. The verse of scripture that jumped in my head, and that's what I just described to you, is exactly what I did on that little computer board a while ago. Proverbs 31, about a virtuous woman. She looks well to the ways of her household. She's looking at the ways of her household. She's keeping up with what's going on. She knows the business of it, the scripture says. She knows the business around the home that she's involved in. You read that story of that Proverbs 31 woman, that's an industrious woman, right? And you talk about working outside the home, that gal's getting it done. And so, before the home. Anyway, so she's studying on it. She's looking close, keeping up with what's going on. It's easy. You think about it this way. In work, if you work with your hands, what gets you hurt? Stuff you've done 10,000 times. I don't know how many electricians I know got burnt, got electrocuted, whatever. I said, man, what happened? Said, I stuck a screwdriver in a place I knew not to put it there. Right? Heavy equipment operator does something 10,000 times. I mean, when it comes like with pistols and rifles and stuff, the number one group of people I know have had more what they call accidental discharges than any other group by far of men I know. Police deal with it all day long. I mean, I know policemen shot holes through their walls, and even, frankly, without going into a considerable more tragedy about not emptying a gun when they were getting ready to clean it. Okay, stuff that stuff that's basic. But what happens is you get familiar. And as you get familiar, you're not paying attention to it. You can do this in your worship. That's what got Uzzah killed. He grew up with the Ark of the Covenant in his house. He thought, man, it's a common thing to him. He'd reach up there and touch it if he wanted to, and got himself killed. You can not pay attention to your worship. You can not pay attention to your work, and you can show not pay attention to your family. Family in the home especially, because we get caught in that grind. You got to get up. You got to get the kids fed every day. You got to take care of the bills. You got to do this. Got to do this. Got to do this. Dinner's at this time. Come in. Get off work. Right? It's the same. You get in that grind, and all of a sudden you're not paying attention. But recognize this: every kid you got's living their life. They got things going on in school. They got things going on in their own head. They got things that they're being influenced by that you may or may not have any control over. Just the normal changes of life, right? I mean, when going through puberty and adolescent age and teenagers, I mean, their situations can change and fluctuate so quickly. You ever heard? Well, think of this: the number one time for divorce in an American family is sometime between 0 and 7 years. The number two time is from about 20 years to about 26 years. Those are, in fact, almost as many. So what's up with that? How can somebody be married for 20 years, 25 years, and end up divorced? You're not paying attention to the ways of your household. So what I'm saying is take a moment today and pay attention. I try when I talk to people to make sure I look them in the eye, especially people I deal with every day, because it's easy to walk in here in the office, hey guys, how's it going, blah, 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 right? But not make sure before every day, everybody here, as they move in and out, I take that moment to go, how do they look like they're doing? Because frankly, God taught you how to communicate and understand things without even hearing words. In fact, so much of our communication with people is visual, right? For God help you if you can't see, right? I mean, that's a great difficulty. But for most of us, it's not what you say so much as how you said it, right? What's the tone? What's the intent? What's the facial expression? So I tell people, quit trying to handle problems on a text. You can't do it. You're just going to create problems. And what I kind of started with, how do you fix a problem before it starts? Well, you pay attention. You don't lose tempo. You don't lose initiative. The real reason I hadn't got this minute done, and I usually do them on Monday and Tuesday, and put them out for the week, was as I come out. If you've heard the sermon I was preaching on Sunday, you'll know where some of it came out of. But out of that sermon and the direction we're focusing on and things, there were things that I could look down the road and say, you know what, that could cause an issue. That's going to make things too difficult. That's going to make this too hard on this person or that person or whatever. And so don't have a problem. Wasn't even close to a problem. But when you look at it and you see it and you go, where's this going? When you don't know if a thing's right or wrong, always look at where it's going. People ask me, is it okay to do this? It's okay to do that. The question is, Brett, I can't find this in the Bible. Well, ask yourself the question, where's it going? Where is what you're doing going to take you? Only an idiot moves around, doesn't think he's going to land somewhere. Makes sense? Sure. So look well into the ways of your household. Look well into the ways of whether it's your business or your ministry or whatever, but particularly with your family and your marriage and those parental and child-parent relationships, and look well to it and look for potential problems. No teenager goes off the deep end in a moment. You drift, and then boom. Okay? So look well to it. Be looking at it. Be studying on it. Okay? Be recognizing, is your husband gotten distant? Is your wife not speaking as much? Look for what's going on and be wise enough to deal with it before you get to the problem. The reality is this. Today, I was playing that game. That guy comes out and plays that counter game against me. He frankly made a foolish move. Even a mediocre player like me, most of the time, unless you're just an extraordinarily good player, if you make that move, I'm going to beat you. Even me. You already seen how bad I am. And because it's not the best move by far. But you got to see it when it happens. And if I'd have seen that, I wouldn't have been in a bind. In fact, I got so fresh playing around and just resigned. I was mad at myself. I said, you dummy, pay attention what you're doing. Well, anyway, hope this makes some sense. Hope you have a good day. And if you play chess, well, my handle on chess.com is JMOJUB. That's a great mystery as to what that means. JMOJUB. Maybe I'll catch you on there sometime and you'll find out how bad a player I really am. Have a great day. Bye-bye.